So, based on what's in here, can you figure out what's going to happen next? Any guesses? If you guessed learning to drift in a wagon that's been masquerading as a shelf for the last 2 years, you would have been correct. Jesus. Whew. All right. Take a look. Okay, so what are we doing with this differential? Well, an important component of any drift setup is a limited slip differential, or LSD. The IS300 came with either an open differential or an LSD in one of 2 gear ratios. All you need to know before I start throwing around a bunch of numbers is that the higher the ratio, the more RPMs you need to put down power. So, for a low power, naturally aspirated, and relatively high revving car like our IS300 here, if you want to spin the tires every time you mash the accelerator, going for a higher ratio will allow you to translate more power to the ground at the cost of top speed. The differential that comes in the automatic IS300 has a gear ratio of 3.9 to 1, while the BRZ FRS GT86 comes with a 4.1 to 1 ratio. Wait, what does a BRZ have to do with an IS300? Quite a lot actually, but that's a story for another time. The important fact is that both cars use the same differential carrier, the part that holds the gears inside, and uses the same mounting points on the rear subframe and drive shaft. I'm opening this one up to verify it's the ratio that I'm looking for and to check for any damage because it came from eBay. That probably wasn't the official way. I was excited. Alright, so after using my brain a little bit and contemplating how to figure out if this was indeed the correct gear ratio that we wanted, we're looking at using logic to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the input plate until this comes all the way around, and I'm going to count the number of rotations. And you would think that maybe 4.1 and 4.3 wouldn't have that significant of a difference, but they will when you see how many turns I do on the other side. So we'll watch this go around as I do full turns. Four, and conveniently we have 4 holes, so we know when we're doing 1/4 turn. This is going to be 1/4 turn here, and we look at our gear set. It's just shy of it. We go to here, the gear is right in the middle, so I would say that right there, that's about 1/3 of the way around, and so we did it. So it's a 4.3 gear ratio differential. If you were paying attention, you would have noticed that this differential is a 4.3 to 1 ratio, not a 4.1. The 2017 and later BRZ and GT86 came with yet another different ratio in the same carrier. This is what I've got here from a Rec 2017 BRZ, and luckily everything inside looked good, because this is going to replace the 4.1 in my BRZ, and the 4.1 is going into the IS300. But first, we're replacing the side seals.
Freccero, me pones a 1000.
this was a pain in the ass. Literally took me probably 2 hours to figure out what to do, but I think I've got a good process now. So on this side, what I'm gonna do, I haven't done this side yet. You can see that this one's up behind the exhaust. Oh, sorry, you can see that, yeah. So I'm gonna take this off, I'm gonna take this off, drop this piece, then I'm gonna disconnect the rear lower control arm here, right? Mind you, if none of this was stock, if you had adjustable bolts and all that stuff, you'd have to redo an alignment, but because none of this is adjustable, should be fine. And once all that's done, I'll go ahead and jack the tire up. The other one, I took the wheel off for some more clearance. May have to do that again, I'm not sure, but on the other side I jacked from right here, which this bar wasn't there, but over here I'll jack. I don't think I can get the jack under the wheel. I don't know, we'll see. And then I took my slide hammer, and one of the tools, I don't have the proper like axle puller tool. What I do have is this little nugget, the little finger, the threaded hole, and I had to file down, which I used my angle grinder, the back of it so that it would actually slot into the correct space, which I'll show you right here. So it would actually fit right there, right on the back of this lip right here. Not this lip, but this lip. And get it as close to parallel with the unit as I could, and then just one solid hit and it finally came out. So it just let go. So yeah, so watch me do the other side. Yatta! We're out. Second side always takes way less time than the first side.
Freccero, me pones a 1000.
I guess I should put that on a jack. Why won't you let go? One. Ooh, look at all that moly grease. Next issue is that the IS300 stock bolt does not go all the way in. This is actually thicker than this hole, so you have two options here. You can either ream this out a little bit, because you want this to seat all the way in as much as possible. You could, technically there are three options. You could put a couple of washers there, spacers, but then this wouldn't seat all the way in, which is probably not a good idea. you could hollow this out down here, or you can reduce the width of this bolt. The bolt is easier to replace than the bushing, so I'm probably going to modify the bolt. Now that we've got the differential sorted out, it's time to get this car moving again. Not only has it been a shelf for the last year, it's also been a storage unit for its own interior components. Everything is here, it just looks like this car was used as a giant Yahtzee cup. Time to get the bare minimum bolted on and bin the rest. Oh shit, I got wheels in here. Oh, and another tire down there. Looks like I'll get to drift after all. While we're in here, at least it's an OEM cabin air filter, but that might mean it's the original. Gross. Nothing living in there, but that's a dirty cabin air filter. Good thing this is a drift car. Should probably just replace it. It's our little secret, nobody ever knew. Yeah, so I think we've got everything we need to drift. We got the gauge cluster, we got the key. Yeah, so I'll consider that dashboard done. Yeah, hard. Darn. guys didn't get any footage of installing the wink mirror, but pretty straightforward. Right here are the screws for the visors that drop down, and I just used the included hardware and popped that through existing holes. Didn't have to drill anything. Same thing on the other side, and the wink mirror is now installed, and I can actually see out the back, which is cool. And then pirated the battery tie down onto here from the other car, so that's good to go. I also pirated the battery, which is why this car gets a nice battery, and taking it to the exhaust shop tomorrow. She lives.
1 week later.
Feel like I would like to do better, and I don't know how to do better, and so I'm just going to keep going and just hopefully get better.
Oh, shit. Nice. Did anything cool happen so far?
I popped off all my tires on my passenger side, and it blew up one tire. So I think that's pretty cool. Check that out. Pop the rim right off the tire, right off the rim on the front too. I hit the grass pretty hard. This one got toasted. That one I'm just gonna change, but. There's a couple IS300s out there, so yeah. Glasses on. Oh.
Ouch!